pretty grim. This camp was supposed to be really simple, but it turned out quite ugly, hasn't it? We've had ticks in the tent, blowing a hoolie. Yeah, it's not simple, but put hairs on your chest. The weather's been terrible for a couple of weeks. There's been bucket loads of rain. Hopefully we don't get any rain today. Told you it was wet. So it's definitely been one of those weeks. Had to get out tonight for both mine and Joe's sanity. It's been pretty hectic back at the ranch. We've had birthdays. We've been preparing to finally get the ceiling done in the front room. I think I originally said yes back in 2019, but you know, Joe's felt the need to remind me every 12 months or so since then. But I am a man of my word. The plasterer's coming in a few weeks. Me and Joe are like chalk and cheese when it comes to things like that. You know, I would be just chipping away at it and get there in the end. She's planned where the ornaments are going already. Yeah, trips to IKEA and all that kind of stuff. Not quite George Fisher, but you know what they say. Happy wife, happy life. Yeah, so before we get to that point where my breathing wants to make a reach for the bread knife, I thought I'd better go camping. And tonight, I'm heading up on that lump, a little hill called Melbrake. It's only around 500 odd metres, I'm not sure exactly. I'm glad I waxed my boots before I came out, but I'm regretting not putting my gaiters on. That wind's picking up a bit, so I'm not going to go right up to the top. I've got about another 140 metres of ascent to do to the summit of Melbrake. But there's some nice little shelves this way that's going to protect me from the wind. The views are still stunning. I've done a bit of a weird loop, so I've come up there, all the way over the back here, and then back over there. I reckon there's a nice little flat spot just on that edge, although it's still a bit windy down here. This'll do. New tent day as well. Nortent Vern 1, the new one. First time out for me. As always, poles first because they're not going to blow away. Whereas you don't want your tent flapping around while you're putting these up. I wish all tents could do this, where you can just peg everything out and then build it up from the ground. Much easier in windy conditions. It was probably my favourite feature on the Hilleberg Solo I had. Colour coded sleeves. Makes it easy, doesn't it? Then you just build it up, clip it on as you go around. No flapping around while the wind's blowing. All I need to do is guy everything out now. So these, you just put it through itself, wrap it around the pole as well, gives it that extra strength, and it like sort of distributes the, you know, the fly's tension across all of this vinyl here and onto the pole, so you've not really got any individual weak points on the tie outs. So I tend to have two different lengths of peg. So these smaller ones are what I use to just peg the tent out itself, and then the longer ones, they go on the guy line, so they're like taking, you know, most of the strain on the ground. The longer the peg, the harder it is to come out, and we don't want them blowing out in the wind, do we? So the two end guy lines, they also double up. So they've got a little clip on here, and that clips on and it holds your vent open, so you get some good ventilation. All Peggy Sues are in. Looks pretty solid, that, doesn't it? But the star of the show is over there, look. Wow. Considering we've got that little bit of shelter, it's still quite windy here. Right, let's get the stuff in the tent. Nice to be out of that wind. So I haven't brought much gear with me today. Very simple setup, good quality gear, but I've not brought all the fluff with me. There's no folding tables or foil mats or little gadgets to blow up my sleeping pad or anything like that. It's just the bare essentials really. Tent, sleeping pad, quilt, pillow, little stove, and I've got a battery pack and a head torch. Just so I can film and stuff like that. But yeah, very basic kit today. I just wanted to get up here really. It's gorgeous, isn't it? Oh wow, I've got this as well. No signal up here, so that's how I've messaged the missus. I'm alive, Joe. There's plenty of room in here. Pocket central. Got double patio doors as well. I'm not going to open that one though. I'm just here for the views and to recharge my battery pack as well. Let's have a gander before we lose the last of the light. What a pitch that is. Fairly easy to get to, so I've just parked the car down in Buttermere near the old church. There's a little lay-by at the side there, and then pretty much follow this path along here. It's getting a bit nippy now though. I know some people think that we're bonkers for doing this kind of thing, but what is it, the fool on the hill sees the sun going down. I'll let you finish the rest of the song. This is definitely one of my favourite places. I've camped there, here. It doesn't matter where you pitch your tent up on one of these summits. The views down below to Crummock Water and Buttermere there in the distance, absolutely stunning. From up over on that side you can see Lowes Water in the other direction. It's starting to look a little bit ropey up there though. I think we're getting some rain tonight. Not too much, I hope. Gotta be the strongest Velcro strap I've ever used. Little dot in the middle of my tent. Seen just a handful of people. Well worth coming midweek. I haven't brought me anemometer. Just take my word for it, it's a bit windy. So we've got 90p dehydrated meal and nearly a tenner, I think this one is. That's going to be main meal later on. I've been doing a bit of tidying out and found one of these that wasn't using up. That's about nearly 10 quid. And then this one is what I'd made before I found that. This is just a pot noodle that I put in a little bag. If I'm careful I can reuse these bags as well. Measured it out. I need 200 ml of water to get this just how I want it. Do not fall. Not going to do it with a screwdriver, am I? Where is it? There we go. Yeah, just going to cut it right next to where I sealed it before, and then I can seal it there again. Use same bag for another pot noodle. So when this originally started, it was about this big. Put the little bit of foil in so I know what flavour it is. Sticky rib. And the soy and ginger. Just bubbling. Just leave that for a few minutes. Add a bit of protein. Pepperami. It's the hot one. Instead of a knife, just going to bite bits off. Drop them in. Just going to give that a tad more heat. Couple more minutes and then that's ready to go. What are you drinking tonight? Usual stuff here. Little punk. I think I've earned it today. 3-hour drive plus up here, and then it was about an hour and a half walk, I think. Oh, cheers. That's with a bit of video filming. I did walk. Had a bit of a hang around Buttermere Lake as well. I love it around there. I said I'll go in basic gear. I'm missing my little table. Let's see if that cup does the job. Look at that for a beer can holder. That is like going nowhere. You got to make do with what you got, haven't you? 200ml, told you, perfect. You don't get loads of sauce and water left over. No worse than that runny soup stuff left in a pot noodle. Not bad, you know. It's not much worse than one of these. I know it's not gourmet or anything, but this is about £1.30 including the pepperami. Although that one's got about 800 calories in. This is 400 and something for the pot noodle. And then whatever's a pepperami, 150 or something. Forgot to put me soy and ginger in. You know what? I'm not going to bother. Just means I've got a wet, runny bag. Let me know in the comments what your favourite flavour pot noodle is. I think mine's a toss-up between the sticky rib and the sweet and sour one's pretty good. I like that. I'm going to say sweet and sour. Quite a bit of black cloud covering. Right, time to get zipped up, I think. It's just gone 8 o'clock. It's getting a bit big nasty out there. Wind's picking up a bit. It's just started raining. Cozy in here though. Yeah, the inner tent, it's quite quiet. You get a lot of tents where it flaps around a lot and makes a lot of noise. Although the wind speeds aren't huge. There's 1 or 2 big gusts, but you have to wait and see when it really picks up a bit. Howling. Sorry, but I'm not going out to show you. It's too cozy in here. Ooh. It's getting a bit ropey. I do not want to go out there. I'm going to go out and check that everything is battened down properly. At the end of the day, your tents is only as good as your pegs, so if your pegs come out, then you're in trouble. So just need to check everything is secure, going nowhere. Let's go and see how bad it really is. Everything seems really secure. Wow, that wind is freezing. It's pretty solid though. Bollocks. Well, that's bad news. A tick on my sleeping pad. Very bad news. Oh well. I have to give myself a good check over, won't I? And hopefully there's no more. So I've had a bit of a check over. Can't see out. I've had a look all over the tent as well. Can't see out there. Might just be the one. We'll have to keep an eye on things. I bloody hate ticks. Yeah, I'm itching just thinking about them. So it is what it is. You know, it's part of. Actually, I'm imagining things like. Yeah, it's part of the outdoors, I suppose. But just have to be careful. I'm gonna have to get the permethrin out on the footprint and around the bottom of the tent as well. So I don't want that to happen again. I might have just brought it in with me then when I've been out to check the tent. Yeah, you have got to be careful with ticks. It is possible to get Lyme disease from them, so I'll have to have a good check over tomorrow as well in all my nooks and crannies, and then just keep an eye out for, because you get like a couple of red circles if you've been bitten by one, and it's a giveaway. So get yourself off to the doctors if you have, and then they give you some antibiotics and then everything should be alright. But Lyme disease is no fun at all. Couldn't be bothered with that other dehydrated meal. Pot noodles, like, done the job. It's going to be a long night. So my guy lines come loose. Oh dear. I'm going to take that clip off. That looks a little bit better. Can hardly stand up. That is not what you want at 1 o'clock in the morning. pretty brutal out there. Windy, said 14 to 17 mile an hour with 30 mile an hour gusts. Definitely not that. So after a little bit of thought, I've been back out and I've adjusted the guy lines to the maximum so they can't slip anymore. So fingers crossed, that should be it for tonight. No more worrying. I've put an extra peg in on that back one as well, so everything looks really taut and sturdy. So hopefully you won't see me now till morning. Morning. It's nearly 7 o'clock. The sunrise isn't due for another half an hour. But I am not holding out for that. Just going to wait till it gets a little bit brighter, and then I'm not even going to bother with a cuppa. I'm just going to get everything packed away and then show you how I get this tent down in brutal winds. Wow, pretty grim. Case of getting everything packed away as quick as I can. This camp was supposed to be really simple, but it turned out quite ugly, hasn't it? We've had ticks in the tent, so I found the second one last night. So 2 ticks. We've had blowing a hoolie, so I've slept for about an hour tops, and it's not even the sunrise, so yeah, it's not simple, but put hairs on your chest. Character building. We'll talk about how the gears performed when we get out this wind a little bit. Right, it's a case of just dropping it down from the top. So this should be pretty straightforward to drop down in the wind. I'm leaving the guy lines attached. It's much less windy when the tent's at ground level. hands are too cold to be messing around with guy lines. I'll do that when I get home. Right, we're packed up. I'm going to give you a summary of the gear, but I'll wait till I drop down a little bit out of this wind. Does it get any better than this? That was a bit different, wasn't it? What did you think of that? I was not expecting that at all. Forecast, like I said, was 14 to 17 mile an hour winds with gusts of around 30, and it certainly wasn't that anyway. I've not even had a chance to have a coffee today. I will be stopping off for a little bit of breakfast though. So, my simple camping. Yeah, I didn't take a lot of gear, but fortunately I took gear that was up to the job. The tent, I'm not going to review it or anything like that. There's plenty of those out already. I'm just going to say it's fantastic, did a superb job. That's all I'm going to say. And you can find out all the other stuff that you want on the videos that have done dedicated tent reviews. I did have that problem with one of the guy lines though coming loose, but that was my fault. So the clip, that holds the vent open, so I've put that in the wrong place. I've put it behind the line lock, so when the wind has been blowing against that little flap, the clip has been pulling the line lock loose, and I'm pretty sure that's what's happened. Once I went back out, tightened things up, especially when I tightened it up and put no room for manoeuvre, the tent didn't budge all night. Really pleased with it. Very confident now that I can use that tent in pretty much all conditions. No wet inside, no condensation, but I didn't expect that either with the amount of wind that we got. But the tent's wet through anyway. So I've just shoved it in the bag. It's going to need drying out. If I was using it for more than one day, then I'd have separated the inner and put it in the spare little dry bag that I brought. Sleeping pad, same old. Quilt, I used a 0 degree UGQ Outlaw, and it dropped to 2 degrees and I wasn't cold, so pretty confident in that comfort rating as well. I've been rocking a new backpack as well, so I had the pack and this Polartec Alpha Pro hoodie. I had both of those sent to me by a company called G-Packs over in Italy, so big thanks for that. The hoodie I'm loving, the pack really comfortable. The main compartment's only 40 litres. It's a 40 litre pack with all the bungee straps and stuff like that and pockets. But I've got that big tent in and a sleep system and a stove in a 40 litre pack basically. So yeah, you don't need to be bringing these 60, 70 litre packs week in, week out. I don't think so anyway. The weather's so much different now. Oh yeah, let's talk about weather forecast. So I've used windy. It's been really good for me lately. This time it let me down, so it's the weather forecast. At some point it's going to let you down. The problem here is that I've got no signal, so once I was here I couldn't check it against anything else. I have got a weather thing on my Zoleo, but that said it was 8 miles an hour wind. It just does a general area, and it's for lower down stuff, so it just doesn't really help you out when you're up in the mountains or on a summit. But I'm so glad I didn't go right up to the top. I don't know if it would have been any windier, but yeah, I didn't want to be up there anyway, that's for sure. This is a lovely walk, by the way. I've got naught else to tell you, so all I'm going to say is thanks for watching. I hope you have enjoyed the video more than I have, and I'll see you next time.